A year ago, we bought this house, a derelict farmhouse in the west of Ireland. Over the last 18 months, we've done everything to this, including taking the roof off. The drawback from that, we and our children had nowhere to live. Our 2 teenage kids have gone away for the week, and we're hoping to get everything done for them as a surprise when they come back. It's cutting it close and there's a lot to do. Not only have we both bedrooms to do, we want to get a nice snug for them to enjoy their winter. Let's see how we do. Sockets with the copper pipe coming down. An electrician coming this week, and when we were cleaning out one of the barns, there was this really old dresser. I'm going to hope the bathroom upstairs does not collapse.
Good, there's a massive hole up here.
Cinema lights like that. Down to the barn of barns. Well, holy God. Alright, let's try and make some holes. We should be sorted.
I don't think so.
I'm going to hope the bathroom upstairs does not collapse. My kids are going on holidays next week to their grandparents in Spain. We have an electrician coming this week, and we have most of the house wired. This is the new part, that's fine. We were going to wire this part later in the new year once we have it decorated. We just thought, can I use up my spare wire? And can I quickly throw in just 2 sockets, a light switch and 2 lights? We just want low profile cinema lights like that. They're all LED. So I think it'd be pretty cool to get them on a dimmer. So I think that'd be nice to have for winter. Hoping this is going to be a pretty quick job. I'm going to surface mount them, and I am going to try to use the copper pipe that we have from basically all the heating that was in the house. I want to use these surface mount sockets with the copper pipe coming down. I don't know whether to paint these copper to match the pipe, or whether to paint these black and the copper pipe black. So basically, pausing the OSB, and we are going to take a walk down to the barn of barns. How's it going, Claire?
Good, there's a massive hole up here.
Well, holy God.
Yeah, and then a piece of metal running all the way along. You can see.
You know what the metal is?
Free track.
Free track, yeah.
I'm just sealing in the windows. We've been meaning to do this for a long time. So I'm just flaking back all the paint and sealing them up.
Nice one. Will we have it painted this year?
I don't think so.
I don't know if I've given you much of an update on these trees. Okay folks, we lost a little bit of power down there. I was just showing you that the trees are all wasting away, but they're just obscuring where they fell on, basically where we're keeping our metal stash. So I did, however, manage to get a couple of 1/2-inch copper pipe. I'm going to try these first before I go to the bigger pipes. Actually, I should say, the other thing we're running short on is wire or cable. We're out of the new stuff, and you have to use the new stuff in a new build. But if something's in situ, you can reuse it. So I'm going to see what I can find in situ of the older cable. All right, let's try and make some holes. So that's good. We have one pipe that's going to come up here. I'm going to fit my dimmer switch to this. It comes with a white faceplate, but I'm just going to paint this whatever I decide to paint the metal. And we should be sorted. And I'm going to start to put a hole through these ancient woodworm half-rotten beams. And I'm going to hope the bathroom upstairs does not collapse. Now at this point I was close to tears, guys. The drill bits I was using were blunt, all of them. The 3 of the drills that I had all packed up. About 90% of my batteries were all dead. I'm really running on last reserves here, trying to get this house built. If we can just get through the next few minutes, the next few days, the next few weeks, I think we're gonna be okay. Hold on, tools, hold on. I have just realized that with this light here, which is perfectly centered on this wall, I was going to run it across this beam up here, and it would follow that beam all the way down to the fucking window. So now where do I put it? Hey folks, we're delighted to let you know that our limited edition Rooney Red Setter postcards are now available. If you would like your Rooney approved postcards, head below to our Ko-fi store where you can pick up one and get a secret message from us. If you would also like our original West Cork Wander farmhouse postcards, get them at the same store, but hurry, prints are limited.
And time for varnish. Gosh, I didn't think we'd ever get here, but we have. And finally, this is the last step before we can put some furniture in here, so it was great to get this down. Really fulfilling feeling. And then it was time for a bit of autumn tidy up. We managed to get a blower there from Lidl. Great purchase if anybody's looking for one. Great to tidy up, as last year we were really stung by the fact that we had so many leaves rot in the driveway and just turned to mush and mud, and that just kept getting walked into the house every time we walked up and down. So to do this, it was great, and of course this is a mega benefit for the compost heap as well. And back to the windows. Finally, all sealed. The difference is incredible. Something we've been needing to do for way too long, but finally we got there. And just even this week now, with the heat in the building, it just, all the drafts are sorted. And look at this. I just happened to step out into the field and catch the most wonderful sunset.
Sorry, Claire's doing some blowing outside, cleaning the leaves. I have the socket, I have it wired coming across to here, and I'm just going to fill it with plaster so you won't see that wire. And I'm just going to put the copper pipe here. I have that lined up. I then took a wire all the way across to this beam, so you're not going to see that wire for most people unless you're clearing out the fireplace. Took the wire straight across, put it across the beams, and I have it coming down with this copper pipe, so happily using the copper pipes. This wall was actually kind of hollow behind here. It was a bit tricky, but we have the two lights in. I think that looks great. Right now I need to get some more wire. Where are you? So right now I need to get some more wire, and I need to fit two of these guys. I'm going to fit one around about here. I'm going to fit one on the other side. I don't know, did I show you this? I must give a chat on some of the things that we found in the house. This was a newspaper. Right guys, just went somewhere a little bit quieter because Claire was out blowing the leaves. But I just wanted to show you this. The story I was telling you is when we were cleaning out one of the barns, there was this really old dresser, and it was quite, how would you say, the dresser was in a very bad way. And it was pushed right at the back of this barn, like at the very back. And it had been there for well over 50 years anyway. It was rotten. And as I was trying to carry it out with Claire, the glass fell out of the dresser. Like it was a tall dresser, like it was maybe 1.5 meters high. The glass fell out and it smashed. Well, what are you going to do? But as it fell, this small piece of paper just floated out on the wind like a leaf, and we picked it up. It was a really delicate piece of newspaper, and we opened it up. And there was two interesting sides to this. One side of the newspaper was from ads for like cows or slurry or silage. And it was really remarkable, and because it was from Bantry in the early 1900s, and I'd like to show that. But then the other side of it was a really interesting page, which I don't necessarily want to show that. I want to show both sides, but of a newspaper you can only show one. So anyway, let me show you this because I think it's fascinating. This is what we found in the dresser. So this is the Cork County Eagle and Munster Advertiser from Saturday, July the 26th, 1916. And it's called Peace Day Celebrations, Pageantry in Ireland and England, Scenes in Dublin and Cork, 2 policemen shot. This kind of, this Peace Day, which is kind of the end of the First World War or thereabouts. And they start going on about how, well, I mean, if you want to pause these, you can read it. I'll just show you what's going on. Now, hopefully you've had a look. The interesting thing about this is 1919 was kind of like the height of the Irish War of Independence, when we were trying to get the British out. And there was a lot of people that were loyal to the crown. There was a lot of people that were kind of nationalists to the Irish Republic. And West Cork was really the hub. So they called Cork Rebel County, and West Cork was the home of Michael Collins. He was actually assassinated just up the road there from where we live. But we can see the on Peace Day here, we can see Bandon, and we can see what was done. They had kind of flags and they were very happy. Skibbereen had a normal Peace Day parade. Kinsale had quite a big parade, and they had yachts and boats and schooners. Bantry had a fairly modest parade. Like, we were all keeping it low key down here in West Cork. And then when they got to Cork, there were fierce riots in Cork. The mobs fire on the police, and within just 2 years, I think, the Irish state was officially formed. So this was the height of kind of loyalist and nationalist argy-bargy, really. And as far as I know, the people that were in this house were Protestant, and I guess they wanted a picture of the king, and they wanted a picture of the Prime Minister, Winston Churchill. I don't know who the king was. Who's the king? King George or something. It probably says it here. I'll find out later. But they wanted a picture of the king and the Prime Minister, but they obviously didn't want it on display just in case somebody came. Or maybe they kept this from 1919, and when Ireland kind of became its republic again, they wanted to hide it. They wanted to keep it, but they wanted to hide it. So somebody put this in a dresser sometime after 1919, and there it stayed until we moved down and started to clear out the old farmhouse in 2023. So well over 100 years this was squirreled away, and we decided to get this nice little frame off Amazon, and we're going to put that somewhere really, really cool. There's another story about this place, actually. The family that lived here, that built the house, if you look across there, that's a little cottage. We have some plans for that cottage to bring it back to life somehow. You barely see the wall of it, but we think the stones were taken down to build this house. And this house has got stones to the ground floor, very wide stones, about 1 meter wide, and then kind of concrete in the top floor. So the family that built this were, what's the name of the family, Claire? The family that lived here were called German, a Protestant family. And the father was a farmer. He farmed this land. A shopkeeper, they had a shop here across the road, and a stonemason. So we think he was the one actually that took the stones from the cottage, because it was originally, there was a house on that side of the road in the first OSI, and then the house appeared here at the second edition of the first OSI maps for the region, which were the most advanced maps in the world in the 1830s when they were charted. His daughter is someone called Annie German. She went by the name Nancy German, and she went on the Titanic to go over to her older sister, who had married another local farmer from here, Grace Draper. and she was the first to go over to Massachusetts. The boat Titanic, as you know, the story with that, it sank. But she survived, she made it across, and she set up camp, and then one by one the family moved across. All of them went across, and this house was effectively abandoned for the first time. When the father died, this house was left to the eldest daughter, because I don't think they had sons. And the eldest daughter, who was married to Draper, they actually came back. They moved elsewhere, and their son, John Draper, ended up staying in the house. And he passed, I think, in 1970, but his cousin stayed in the house with him, a local person by the name of Swanton. And that's the person who was last to live in the house before we took over. So it's been vacant twice really in this house's lifetime, and it has only been sold once. Isn't that incredible? This house was only sold once, and that was to us. So we're going to get into a little bit more history of the place once we have a bit of time and we start to finish up the project. But I just thought, how cool was that? And I just remembered it because we were cleaning up the place. But we are going to start putting more art on the wall and more bits and bobs, and I think as we find it we're going to explain it to you. But I thought, nice little side quest.
Operation Snug. Time to sort out these ceilings, the walls, prep for paint, get rid of the old paint, sort these window holes out, plaster, and by golly the door. It's hanging on in there, as you can see by my sign. And we got to do something with these stairs. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this, but we'll see. Maybe it replaced at some stage, but not right now. And off I go. And we're flappy disking the beams. The beams are covered in black and brown and kind of a creamy kind of color. I don't know if it's old paint, varnish, dirt, I don't know, but it's got to go. And they look amazing once done. So as you can see, I've just done the first one there. There were so many nails stuck in these. Staples, nails, thumbtacks, all sorts of things. There was sparks flying in all directions, but they had to come out. Those that I could get out. There is the odd nail still in there. I guess that's a bit of history, isn't it? And look at them now. They look amazing. So much better. Actually completely transformed. Next week, we'll have the whole place painted.
Delighted to be coming to the end of the wiring here. This actually wasn't so bad. Sockets, I think, are really easy, especially when there's only one wire. When you have to join them up in the rafters, then there's a dozen wires. That is a major headache. I decided not to actually show you everything I'm doing because it was really boring. I hate wiring. I'm pretty sure you guys hate it too. What I have done is put the external sockets in. I've used the copper pipe. I actually really like it, but there's quite a lot of paint on it, and I don't think I want to scrape it off. So I reckon we're going to paint this white or black. I'm not sure. I have done an ungodly junction box up there, so I can send power all to this side. I have another little socket put in there. I wall mounted the television just so we could get rid of this horrible table. And what else have I done? I've put up our cinema lights. I only have this temporarily put up there until I find a junction box. I couldn't find one, but I will tidy up all that cabling. And dimmer switch is installed, and I have the same copper pipe, and there's a little bend in it, which I think is wonderful. When these are all painted, I think I'm going to secure them. At the moment, they're just kind of loose. So cinema light there, cinema light there, and I think we can say the electrical is done in this room. Surprisingly, I wasn't even planning to do it. It's a gorgeous day, folks. Sunny, warm. I'm in a t-shirt, but it's getting cold at night, so we're getting to the end of our harvest. This is our sunflowers, which we're hoping to save a few of those seeds. But the tomatoes just keep on coming. This is in 2 days. So every day we get a bucket, but every 2 days we get huge buckets. Now, our diet really is just meat at the moment, so we're freezing most of these. So hopefully they'll do us over winter when we start to introduce more foods. But I want to show you something else I found. This is the only time I've... Let me just show you rather than tell you. We still actually have... That's a half bed of potatoes. And that's another full bed of potatoes we have to pull out. So, bit of a potato overload. Sunflowers, we're still getting loads of sunflowers. Crazy, like, but some of them are wilting. But just look at those behind. Those sunflowers are about 10 feet tall. Massive. Anyway, getting to the end of the season, and kind of like, we thought these would be fun thing to plant, but we're getting loads of corn. Quite surprising. Look at this. Look at that. Now, I haven't grown these in a very long time, but I'm going to show you them in a minute. They're cool kind of purple ones. Let's try and get a big one. This looks massive. Now, they're the purple ones. You can see they have a purple tint. The top's a bit purple, and you can see this is a little babby one. They're the kind of... Actually, I'll pull that as well. Oh, look at this. Okay, I'll actually show you back in the kitchen. So, these are what they look like. Now, we think we're gonna eventually eat an animal-based diet. We want to introduce some foods, some vegetables really, mostly fruit, but a few vegetables. But we only want to grow them in our garden. So corn is something that's nice that we'll have maybe every September, and homegrown corn is gorgeous, but check these out. How cool is that? So we have some that are very dark. Now, I should have let this grow, but you know, we're getting to the end of the season. I don't think it's going to grow that much more. We've been having a few of the baby sweet corns. They're lovely. Just eat them whole. But look at that. I mean, chuck that on a barbecue. It is divine. Loaded up with butter. Yum yums. It's our anniversary in 2 days' time. It'll be the anniversary by the time... No, wait. This is going out tomorrow. This is going out on Wednesday. It's our anniversary on Thursday. So if you want to give us an anniversary present, please do like this video. Please do comment on this video. Say, happy anniversary, Claire. And give us a note, subscribe. It would make a great present for us. So what I think I might do, it won't be in this week's video, but it'll be next week. I might actually cook some of this with... I don't know, with our anniversary dinner, I think we're going to splurge out a little bit and have a little bit of non-meat stuff. Might even have a bottle of wine. Who knows? So, again, sorry, there's not a lot of cooking segments, but, you know, our diet is really very boring at the minute. It's not great to cook with. But we are keeping that list, and if you want to keep asking us to cook some things, we'll do it. Another thing is we've cooked so many things. A lot of people keep asking for Irish stew. We've actually done that way back, but it's very difficult to find them. So we're trying to figure out a way how we can index the recipes. So hopefully you'll be able to see them soon enough. It's another funny episode. I got to be honest with you, right? We are pushing so hard to get the electrics done because the electrician is meant to be coming. No sign of him yet, but fingers crossed. We're pushing so hard to get all of that done. And we are also pushing so hard to get the Snug done because, yeah, it's winter, it's cold, we want a nice warm place with a fire, blah, blah, blah. This is true. However, all of our stuff is still in the barn, so we really want to make sure that we get it out of the barn before the kind of wet weather comes because it'll just rot. Like, we've a really nice sofa down there we need to get out. So that's our push. We have a week till the kids come home. we're already 2 days in. I got to do editing tomorrow, then we're into Thursday, and then I only have 2 days left. So one of those days has to be to finish off the OSB upstairs in Ashton's room and just get that room done. Then the second day is going to have to be, we're going to have to get all the furniture back in for a surprise for the kids. And then, if we can do that in 2 days, well, we're going to do it in 2 days. We're going to stay up as late as it takes to do it. So there might be a couple of late nights. Stay tuned. I'd love to see you next week. Slán go bhfuil, agus gur míle maith agat. Look what those things do to your fingers. Just like the purple potatoes.